right, day 14 of Jaguars camp. Welcome into the News4JAGs podcast. Jamal St. Cyr alongside Justin Barney. All right, Justin, 14 days through. We're counting down to the end. Another preseason game coming up this weekend, and then one behind it. We still got joint practices to go, so we still got a little bit of ways to go. But you can start to see the finish line.
I can see the finish line. So as soon as we get to the high school football regular season start, Jaguars training camp shuts off. We got to start talking about 53-man cuts, a lot of moving parts. But Jacksonville heading into the New Orleans for this 1 p.m. kickoff on Sunday.
Yeah.
You're getting inching closer. And I thought yesterday, going back and listening to Liam Cohen's press conference, he said we've got about 50 spots already kind of locked in and finalized in our minds.
You got 50? You know the 50?
I could guess.
You think you get?
I could guess, but
all right, go for it.
No,
we'll start at the top.
We'll have to do it. It's too much.
1, 2, 3.
So Liam says he's got about 50 in.
Okay.
So that, I mean, if you're talking, that's going to be pretty important for these next few preseason games and joint practices to make the coaching staff kind of sway their mind and decisions. So these are 2 big weeks left to go.
Look, you can start to figure out who a lot of them are. You can start to figure out a lot of the 50. It's tough for some of them. There are some spots where you're like, is it a Rayon Lane? Does he squeeze onto the roster? But I think you can figure out a big chunk of them. So we'll see how it all shakes out. All right, counting down, a couple more practices before that next preseason game against the Saints. Today was a little bit more of they're off tomorrow, so they kind of went at it for a little bit more physical.
About 20 minutes longer than it should have been. Physical practice today. I thought
they were going to finish with a touchdown.
Yeah,
they were going to finish with a touchdown.
And they did. But first really good fight of camp. LaQuint Allen squaring off with
Bryson Combs.
And I think Bryson won that little scrap. But really kind of you get to this point in camp and you see that physical intensity. Guys have been hitting each other a little ready to hit somebody else, I think, at this point in camp when you start to see these guys square up and get a little extracurricular. So I thought it's good to see that intensity in practice 14 as we get to that finish line. But I thought both sides of the ball had some flashes today. Parker Washington, some good catches. Defense played well. Dewey and had a safety. Eric Murray had a pick. So I thought standouts on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think it was pretty spirited. I think yesterday was a really bad day for the offense. I think today they bounced back just a little bit. I think you kind of led to it a little bit. So offensive standout for the day, probably no brainer.
It's got to be Parker Washington. He just continues to stack good days of camp. You need it when you're trying to lock yourself into that number 4 receiver spot. But he had a great catch in coverage. It was on Jordan Lewis or Jari Jones. I'm not sure who it was, but a beautiful laid out for it touchdown grab. Trevor went over and gave him some props. So he just continues to stack these good days. He's in one-on-ones down here on Jordan Lewis, I think, and made a huge dive and grab. So Parker Lewis just to me stand out once again.
Yeah, look, Parker Washington just keeps kind of having days. I mean, I think I said during practice, he's basically training camp Justin Jefferson. He was out here getting head tops. I mean, he got one on top of Jordan Lewis. He got the diving one during team. He made a handful of other plays where he left guys in kind of the dust. Even earned a PI call with Travis Hunter in coverage. Parker Washington has stacked some really good days. You need him to show up in the preseason game a little bit, since that last game he had the drop, but Parker has had some fantastic days. This is one of his better days so far at camp. For him, a really good day. All right, defensive side.
Probably, if I'm saying anybody I know he's camp or session today, and on the best note, I want to say Andrew Wingard. He had a big safety stop on Tank Bigsby in one of the last practices of the day. Again, defense didn't finish the best, but Dewey came up and made that slop in the end zone for what would have been a safety on a pretty big player in Tank Bigsby. So give me Dewey.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll take Dewey on that one. I mean, a big stop for a safety there. Got a little safety dance from the safety too. So, and I think he's locked up that starting job. I think we're at that point where he's going to be locked in opposite Eric Murray. So we'll see how it all shakes out. All right, you want more Jaguars coverage, make sure you head over to news4jags.com, click on the handy dandy sports page, or check out the Instagram, that's sports4jags, to keep up with all of it there. And we'll see you guys next time.